Good morning. This is English 7 for Monday, April the 27th. Let's look in your grammar book to page 198. 198. We are reviewing all the parts of speech. Now, before we get started on the actual exercise, let's talk about things for a second. What is a person, place, thing, or idea? It is a noun. Nouns have two types of nouns. We said that they are common and proper. Common just means any old school, but proper is City Baptist School, a particular. And whenever, of course, you're writing a proper noun, you have to capitalize it. Okay, what is the action of our sentence called? It's called the verb. Verbs, there are two kinds of verbs. There are action verbs and linking verbs. Remember, the linking verbs are our being verbs. Am, is, are, was, were, be, being, or been. And then we have those sometimes linking verbs, this taste, smell, sound, feel, like, okay? All those. I'm not going to go through them all. All right? Next, we had words that describe a noun or a pronoun. Those are called adjectives. What are the questions of an adjective? Say them with me. Which one, what kind, how much, how many, or whose? And then we talked about words that describe verbs, adjectives, or other adverbs. Those are called adverbs, okay? Most of the time, an adverb is going to describe a verb, but they can describe adjectives or other adverbs. What are the adverb questions? Where, when, how often, to what extent, why, and under what condition. Okay, what about the words that show a relationship between two objects? Those are called prepositions. That means it's beside the desk, on the desk, under the desk, beneath the desk, across from the desk, okay? Those words are prepositions. All right, what about the words that connect? They connect words, they connect phrases, or they connect sentences. Those are conjunctions. What's the one part of speech that we said has absolutely no grammatical effect on our sentence? Sentences begin with them to show a lot of emotion. Those are called interjections. Interjections are separated from the sentence by one of two kinds of punctuation. An exclamation point if we want strong expression, a comma if we just want a little bit of an interruption. Another one part of speech that I skipped in going through that list, what are the words that take the place of a noun so that you don't say, Mrs. Turner is the 7th grade teacher. Mrs. Turner is wearing a white sweater. Mrs. Turner is teaching English. So you don't say Mrs. Turner, Mrs. Turner, Mrs. Turner. What you use the words she or her or they or either, okay? These words are called what? They're called pronouns. A pronoun takes the place of a noun. Okay, today we're going to look at page 198 in your book. Turn to page 198. We're going to identify words and decide, are they an adjective or are they an adverb? If they're an adjective, they must describe a noun or a pronoun. And they have to tell us which one, what kind, how much, how many, or whose. If it's an adverb, it's going to describe the verb, an adjective, or another adverb. And again, it's going to tell us where, when, how often, or to what extent. Look at number 1. Yesterday, we started reading The Oregon Trail by Francis Parkman. Okay, what is the word yesterday? You have 2 clues. Number 1, yesterday tells us when. Which of those words have the question when? An adverb. So yesterday is an adverb. The second clue you had, it was yesterday, comma, meaning it is a what? It's an introductory clause, so therefore it is introducing our sentence. That's always done by an adverb. Okay, number 2. The fields, woods, and mountains were colorfully decorated in the garb of spring. What is colorfully? How were they decorated? Colorfully. So it is an adverb. An early frost hurt many of the area's crops. What does early tell us about? It tells us what kind of frost. So it is an adjective because frost is a thing. It's something I can touch. Okay? The barge proceeded slowly down the river. What does slowly tell me? It tells me how It proceeded. How did the barge proceed? Slowly. If it tells me how, it is an adverb. Number 5, Thomas Edward Lawrence was an Englishman who lived with the Bedouin tribes of Arabia. What is Bedouin? Okay, Bedouin is a type of people. It means that they were like nomadic. It means that they moved around. They lived in tents, okay? So what are the Bedouins? It's a type of tribe, right? So what kind of a tribe? They were Bedouins, so it is an adjective. A friendly attitude is one mark of a Christian gentleman. What is friendly describing? A friendly what? A friendly attitude. An attitude is a noun. What kind of attitude? Friendly. So friendly is an adjective. That was a little tricky because usually ly words are adverbs, but this one describes a noun, so it's an adjective. A cowardly Spartan soldier betrayed his comrades to the enemy. What does cowardly describe? I hope you said soldier, not Spartan. Cowardly tells us what kind of soldier. So does Spartan. Both cowardly and Spartan are both adjectives telling us what kind. Grandma's banana bread was incredibly moist. What is incredibly? Tells us how moist was it. To what extent was it moist? It was incredibly moist. So incredibly is an adverb. Robert Herrick was a courtly gentleman who wrote poetry. What is courtly? What does it describe? It tells us what kind of gentleman he was. He was courtly. So therefore, courtly is an adjective because gentleman is a noun. His actions were much more predictable than his wife's were. What is much telling us about? Actions were predictable, right? Okay, so predictable is an adjective and describing that is a predicate adjective describing the action. So what is much? Well, more predictable tells us is an adverb describing the adjective, and much is an adverb describing the first adverb, more. So it is an adverb. Let's look at exercise D. Here we're going to tell the difference between a preposition and an adverb. It's very, very simple. What did we learn? A preposition always begins a prepositional phrase. Begins with a preposition and it ends with an object. That object has to be a noun or a pronoun. An adverb describes and it will not have an object. It's going to describe the object, but it doesn't make a phrase, okay? American settlers crossed over the Alleghenies prior to the Revolutionary War. Okay, look at the word over. Is that a preposition? Does that begin a prepositional phrase? Yes, over the Alleghenies. Alleghenies is a group of mountains, okay? So over is a preposition. Number 2, dogs can be trained to roll over on command. What about the word over? It tells us to roll where? To roll over, or to roll how? To roll over. So that is an adverb. Number 3, no one was home, but the water was running and the lights were turned on. What is the word on? There's no object after it, so it must be an adverb. Thousands of Hannibal's armies perished on the slopes of the Alps. What is on? Yes, it has a prepositional phrase, on the slopes. So it is a preposition. Several skiers fell down and were thus disqualified from the contest. What is down? It tells us where they fell. So it is an adverb. Number 6, the skier gracefully made her, wow, I can't even read today. The skier gracefully made her way down the hill. What is down? Down the hill is a prepositional phrase, so down is a preposition. A new heart will give you, and a new spirit will I put in within you. Okay, a new heart also will I give you, and a new spirit will I put within you. What is within? It is a preposition because the prepositional phrase is within you. By the way, that's from Ezekiel chapter 36, verse 26. Only Christ can cleanse within. Is within an adverb or a preposition? It is an adverb. It does not have an object, so it's an adverb. When the drawbridge had been raised, the barge passed through the opening and into the harbor. What is your prepositional phrase? Or is that an adverb? Through the opening is a prepositional phrase. So through is a preposition. The bridge was lowered after the boat passed through. This time through is an adverb. It has no object. Number 11. Humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of God, that he might exalt you in due time. What is the word under? Under the mighty hand is a prepositional phrase. So under is a preposition. After leaving the harbor, the submarine went under and headed due north. What is under? It tells us where the submarine went. So it is an adverb. Look across the page to page 199. Tonight, or today, you are going to do 1 through 20 of page 1. You know what? Let's do 1 through, let's say, instead of 1 through 20, let's only do 1 through 12, okay? Do 1 through 12 in your book tonight for homework. And we're going to talk about those tomorrow. Make sure that you follow them through. You're finding the nouns, the verbs, adjectives, adverbs, prepositions, conjunctions. You're looking at all those parts of speech for the words that are in italics. Guys, you can't just read the sentence and just randomly put them down. You have to analyze them. So what does that mean? Step 1, when you analyze, is mark your prepositional phrases. Number 2, find your verb. Ask yourself, who or what did the verb? That is your subject. And a subject's always going to be a noun or a pronoun. Once you have your subject, say, who or what did the verb? Okay? Put your subject and verb together and look for your complement. If you have a linking verb, you're looking for a predicate adjective or a direct object. If you have an action verb, you're looking for the direct object, then the indirect object. Where will the indirect object be? Between the verb and the direct object. It must be sandwiched between the two. It cannot be anywhere else in a sentence. Think through. Conjunctions have to connect. So you have to say, if this is a conjunction, by the way, we learned the list, okay? Fanboy if you need it, okay? If this conjunction, this word is a conjunction, what 2 things is it connecting? Okay, if it's an interjection, is it showing expression? Think them through. Do 1 through 12, and we'll go over them tomorrow. All right, have a good day.